Hello, welcome to Have a Tea with me. My name is Chris. This is the Lesson Jigsaw channel, and we are here for English language practice. If you would like to practice your speaking skills, your conversation skills, we are here for you. So all you need to do is to click on the link, which we're going to put in the chat in a moment, and you can come through to the studio and chat with us. Okay, how are you today? I'm just gonna move this around a little bit more face on. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so I'm gonna put the link in chat so you can chat with us. So click on this link to chat during the live stream. Okay, here we go. That'll be coming through now. How are you? It's a Monday. For most of the world still, I think it's a Monday. If it's a Tuesday, welcome to Tuesday. But for most people, it's a Monday. I guess most people today, well, some people, depending, I guess, what part of the world you're in, what's happening in life and the priorities and stuff. But I guess if there's nothing special and particular going on, a lot of people are going to be talking about the Oscars, things that happened there. And I guess there are lots of questions, I guess, that can be asked about what is correct and what is appropriate. And if you want to talk about that, by all means, you can talk about that. That's up to you. But yes, it's very interesting how the world works and different people's reactions, I guess, to different things, and I guess how people react to reactions, I guess, is the way you would say it. You know, when people sit by and do nothing, or when people do something, what's the correct course of action? It can be hard to know sometimes. It can be hard to know. It's a tricky one. Are things ever justified? I guess could be a question people ask. But anyway, so that's one topic, I guess, that's certainly around the world at the moment. If you would like to discuss that, that is there for you. Since we're saying it is the 28th of March. I don't know. I probably should look at what happened in history on this day. I do remember, for some reason, the 28th of March. I should remember. I think actually the 28th of March was the first day I ever went to a concert. I think. I think it was an In Excess concert. I think it was the 28th of March. It was a big concert in Sydney, Australia. Back in the day, we would say. Back in the day. Let's get that down. Back in the day. Back in the day, just an expression, a little phrase to mean to mean a long time ago. Sometimes you can say it sort of like in a joking sort of way when it wasn't that far ago or that wasn't that long ago. But generally, if it was a while ago, you could say something like that. Back in the day. Back in the day when I was at school, we were all whatever. I don't know. So yes, that's one of the possibilities. So I should say. So we are here every day, Monday to Friday at 12 o'clock Universal Time. I guess Universal Time is good to register during these sorts of weekends when all the last couple of weeks, I guess, actually, where you have different clocks around the world changing for daylight saving forwards and backwards and that sort of thing. So that's why Universal Time can be handy, because it's consistent. Doesn't there's no, well, it changes of course, like time changes, but not like there's no, let's say, dramatic changes for daylight saving. So 12 o'clock universal time, there or thereabouts, we are here. It's for English language conversation practice. So particularly if you're learning English, or a student of English and you wish to practice, all you got to do is to click on the link. You could also be thinking that, hey, 12 o'clock universal time is not good for me and you're watching on the replay. Hello. If you are watching on the replay and you're thinking, that's not a good time, I can't do that time because I'm at work. I can't do that time because I'm on the bus. I'm going home. I'm sleeping. Can be lots of different reasons, of course. So all you need to do is send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. You'll see it there, and also during the show, you'll see it running across the bottom of the screen. If you send us an email, let us know where you are, like your time zone, what you like to chat about, and some times and days that would be better for you. We can see if we can organize a live stream with you that's at a better time for you, and that we can do here as well. So that would be good. So yeah, so it's really important, of course, to practice speaking and practice conversation skills using different words, expressions, vocabulary, practicing different situations, all of that sort of stuff. It's really important. So this is an opportunity for you to use, basically, to use if you wish to do that. Now, if you have watched any of these previous shows, you will know that we like to, because I'm talking to myself, so I like to use some sort of stimulus to chat about. One day I should talk about the person consistently pouring that cup of tea in the top right-hand corner. That's there, not all the time, but most of the time. We can talk about that one day, how to pour a good cup of tea. And I have to say, like with that sort of holder for the, I guess it's a tea holder, I'm guessing I'm not sure if there's another name, there could be, or a tea strainer maybe, it could be a strainer. It's not a traditional strainer, but it does the same job as a strainer. And pouring the water, the boiling water, directly on the tea leaves that are contained in there. If that's the best method, I know I've been told by some people we need to get the boiling water directly on the tea leaves. And I have to say, I tend to use tea bags more. In fact, it's been a long time since I've used, because I've never really been in the habit of using like the actual leaves, which is maybe a bad thing. I don't know. Maybe for traditionalists, they're going, no, not tea bags. But anyway, so tea bags. But I find if you pour the hot water directly onto the tea bag, sometimes it can be, there's like a little bubble that builds inside the bag. Not necessarily, maybe an air pocket might be a better word to use. So let's use either one. So bubble or air pocket. It's a bubble or air pocket that seems to develop. And then so when you keep pouring the water on, it seems to get, it's almost like a hard surface. It's not hard, but it's hard in the sense that the water flies off it. So it's not going through. And I assume, I think that's just because of the water. I think that happens as well if you pour cold water. I don't think that's necessarily just because it's hot or boiling water. So anyway, yes, I know. So covering the big issues, pouring tea and the Oscars. So I guess you could say topical and nonsensical combination there. But perhaps not necessarily, that's not sort of undervaluing the value of tea. Now, I was okay. So we do like to use different types of stimulus to talk about, and it's certainly good to look at things like text. So looking at newspapers or blogs, magazines, all those sorts of things, and getting ideas from there. Also the pictures or the photos that you see on there. Pretty much anything can be a stimulus for conversation. It's just a matter of using it. And then it's a case of how deep you want to dig into it. And that's as you would know from a normal conversation that you would have. You know, sometimes you just touch a subject and then, you know, then you leave it. And other times maybe you have more time or whatever it may be, and you dig a bit deeper. Maybe go into like philosophical matters or just stories or whatever it could be. And then so when looking at those things and when talking about those things, if you're thinking of what can I say or what can I talk about, I encourage you to use the question words with the examples we give here: who, what, when, where, why, how, and any sort of question formation that you want to have to stimulate the conversation or to start to collect ideas and opinions and facts and information. So we keep that at the back of our mind. And we will, for today, we'll have a look at this picture. So again, if we're looking at those questions, who, what, when, where, why, let's start here with what is this? And I think we would agree this is a live music gig. Concert, you could say as well. I'm not sure for some people if to be a concert. I guess a concert has to be at a larger venue, but I'm not sure if I don't think there's a specific number where people. It just tends to be, if it's like in a pub or a bar, it tends to be more a gig. And if it's a larger venue, though how large that larger venue is, it tends to be more of a concert. Although it doesn't necessarily mean the amount of people, because I've been to some concerts where there's been less people than in a gig in a bar, a big bar or big pub, admittedly, but nevertheless. So it depends what we call a concert. Yeah, and I guess that can be open to interpretation or what you want to use. And I'll certainly say, like, if it's a concert, I would also use gig at the same time. But for some bars, I wouldn't call it a concert. Like if you're in a bar and it was like a tiny room, it's harder to call that a concert. Let's have a definition. So one definition is, okay, well, there you go. So a performance by one or more singers or instruments or both. Okay, well, there you go. So, okay, so a concert is a live performance in front of an audience. Or there you go. Okay, so just ignore what I said. So anything basically is a concert. But I think that may be the definition. But I think in general usage, I guess we sort of think of it as like more people than, or a bigger, excuse me, a bigger venue than a smaller one. That is very strange how my My throat goes funny when I talk on here, but when I talk anywhere else, there's no problem. It's a very strange phenomenon. Anyway, so I'm going to mix the tea with water, plain water. Plain water meaning cold water, as opposed to warm water or hot water with the tea. Okay, so what is this? This is a live, a live gig, a live concert. I can't tell if this is indoors or outdoors. Now, certainly the stage there looks rather big, but I could imagine this both indoors and outdoors. Probably need a wider angle to actually know if it's indoors or outdoors. Even just sort of looking for clues on the people and stuff, you can only see really like reflections and that sort of thing. So I can't really tell if it's indoors or outdoors. But perhaps with the, because sometimes maybe you can tell with the way the lighting is up the top, although I'm not, a professional with lighting by any means, but certainly there are sometimes clues. But yeah, I can't really tell. I'm not sure. What do you think? Do you think this is an indoor or outdoor gig? I'm not sure. I would certainly suggest it's more than likely a rock band, just because of the guitars. Although it doesn't have to necessarily be rock to have guitars. You can have guitars and other types of music, but certainly with the amount of people, and I guess this is just generalizations, I guess, isn't it? The people, from what you can make out of the clothes they're wearing, it does. And again, anyone can wear any types of clothes, of course, but it would be common for a rock concert in particular. Let's get that down. From what I can make out, from what I can make out, it's a rock gig. So where's that apostrophe? Pressing the wrong button. But from what I can make out, so make out here is from what I can determine or decide or know from whatever information is given to me. In this case, the information is the picture. Hello, Sonia. I'm fantastic. How are you? I hope you had a pleasant weekend. Joyful and peaceful, I hope. So I think it's, I'm going to go with a rock gig. I'm going to go with outdoors. I'm going to guess this is like outdoor, maybe like at some sort of festival. Even though I can't really see a banner for a festival, although there's something on the left and the right, it looks like it could be a type of banner for a particular festival. It's hard to tell. It looks like it's sort of like a face mask or something on both sides. But that's as I say, that's a guess. But it could be. It could be. But I think those, because festivals are quite been common for a long time, haven't they? But there's festivals everywhere, excluding COVID stuff, but there's been lots and lots of festivals generally. I know there was a time, I think, when was it, in the 2000s, I think it was, I'm not sure about the rest of the world, but certainly in Europe, there just seemed to be like a festival every week, in the summer at least every week, and sort of every other week at other times. There's just like an unbelievable amount of festivals. and not all of them survived. There were some traditional ones that they all traditional, like yeah, I guess ones that were earlier type festivals. So if you're thinking of Reading and Glastonbury and those sort of festivals, they managed to survive and go through, as I guess they were some of the earlier common festivals for the rock era, let's say, or the band era. No, rock era is better because you had big bands, of course, in the early 20th century and before even perhaps. Yeah. Now, I did see the other day. I love that. Do you use that expression? The other day. If you don't know exactly what day it was, but in the past, the other day, I saw whatever is the other day. And the other day I watched it was a talk show from the US, and there was people were really, really worried about um, crowd surfing and stage diving, both. So stage diving, crowd surfing. Now here's a question. Maybe there's two words. They want to do two words. Oh, okay. Now here's a question. Have you ever stage dived or crowd surfed? I mean, I guess in a general sense, most people in the world haven't. As a general rule, I would say it's even if you like think of a concert, there are not many people who actually do that, who actually go to the concert. It's a small percentage, and I guess the meanings are quite literal. So stage diving is getting onto the stage and jumping off it, diving into the crowd. And normally it's a combination. So then you dive into the crowd, you're hoping the crowd will catch you, and then you surf. So the crowd's sort of like holding you up, and you surf along the crowd until inevitably you fall down, or you come to the ground. And in my experience in concerts, um, there are good and bad, well, both divers and crowd surfers. Like anything, there's always danger, of course, with anything. Obviously, more with diving because there's no guarantee anyone's going to catch you. There can always be you know, a situation where it's like, no, it's not doing it, or whatever. Or people aren't paying attention to you, or whatever it is. Okay. So you're saying, yes, had an excellent weekend. Yesterday went to a festival. There you go. Where I tasted delicious food from different countries. And I drink a little bit of beer while listening to good music. Okay. Well, I'm interested to know what were the countries and what were the foods like, or which foods, I guess. Which foods? I guess both questions. Which foods and what were they like, and from which countries? And I wonder if you had if different countries had the same food. I guess a good example of that, I guess everywhere, and of course I don't know about every single place in the world, but I guess everywhere or most places will have some version of a pie. So an enclosed like pastry that's enclosed, and you have something inside. So pie or empanadas, or something along those lines. I think there seem to be, everywhere in the world, there seems to be a version or versions of them, either savory or sweet. You always seem to find them. Yeah. And I wonder, was the music representative of the different countries as well? So maybe it was like, I don't know, 1 o'clock, some Mexican music, and 2 o'clock, I don't know, Italian music, and 3 o'clock, Sudanese music, or something like that. That would be good. I wonder how many continents were represented. Question. How? I wonder. I wonder how many continents were represented. I wonder how many continents were represented. And then there's, with that, of course, this is how conversations move along, isn't it? And then I guess with that, the question is, how many continents? How many continents do you believe there are? Because I remember when I went to some countries and was shocked by how many continents they believe there are, or are taught. And then it was interesting, and then I searched it, and then it was like, you have a list of all these different countries that teach 5 continents, 6 continents, and 7 continents. It's interesting. Okay, so from Mexico, we had tacos. I assume the tacos were the soft tacos. So I always remember growing up, I always thought, and that's the way they were always given to us, was like hard tacos. And then when we actually saw actual, I guess, food being cooked in Mexico, or on a TV show, admittedly, but seeing food cooked and the tacos there, they were soft rather than hard tacos. Is it, of course, an advantage to either one, but nice. And from Colombia, arepas. Nice. I've always found arepas really, really filling, like incredibly filling. Like of all of the foods that I've eaten, I think arepas would have to be close to the top of foods that, I guess, that signal that, you know, the stomach is full, is the quickest with arepas. I guess it depends what's in the arepa, maybe, but even still, even just the arepa itself could be quite filling, I think. But then when you put, sometimes I think was it cheeses and stuff they put in, sometimes with meat, and all different things. I've seen some other places where they've got a whole bunch of different fillings they can have. But yes. So it seems like a very, I guess, Central and South American vibe from those. And listen to music from your country. And so, okay, so from Colombia and Quarteto, I guess. Okay. Okay, so that's a musical genre born or started or with roots in Cordoba in Argentina. There we go. Okay, nice. it's nice to hear local music from different regions, isn't it? I always found that quite a nice, like a special thing. Uh, when you have, particularly like when natives from whatever country or region are in your country, or wherever you are, um, and they're playing the music from their local area, like especially if it's like a small uh, type of area, or a place where like it would be unusual perhaps to visit, um, and that sort of thing. Um, it's quite a special thing. So in the festival, there were stands which represent countries like Mexico, Colombia, Germany, Uruguay. Okay, nice. I'm gonna guess the German food was sausages. Is that the? That's gonna be my guess. Sausages, Frankfurters, and all that was like currywurst and bockwurst and all the different wursts, and perhaps potato salad. I can imagine in Germany, potato salad. But maybe there are other things as well. From there. I wonder if there were any German bands. What's that? The accordion, I think. You get the accordion music in Germany sometimes, I think. I remember it's interesting, different traditions in different places. I remember going to some places in Germany, and if you're in I'm not sure if it's all the bars or just certain bars, but say you're drinking a beer. You drink the beer and you put it on the table, of course, in between sips or gulps, and you're drinking, and if and when it's just in there, when it's finished, they will replace it automatically. You don't have to ask for one. They will automatically replace the beer. Like they'll keep a log of it. Like you'll have like a placemat or a coaster or something where they'll make a mark, and take a note of how many drinks are served to the, I'm sure it's to the table or to the person, but either way. And if you don't want to drink, you have to put the coaster on top of the glass, and that's the signal to say no more drinks, or not for the moment at least. But otherwise, if your glass is empty, they will automatically get a new one or top it up. Normally a new one. But that was I guess it's a very convenient service. You want a fresh beer, and you don't want to always have to go, excuse me, try to get their attention, because it's quite busy. So it's quite good. So in my country, the most representative singers of quarteto are La Mona Jimenez, Rodrigo Bueno, and Banda, I'm gonna guess that's XXL. Is that meant to be like extra large, like in English, or XXL has another meaning, perhaps? Okay. And I wonder if any of those were there, or perhaps the bands there played some of their music, or the music that they sing. I'm not sure if the singers for quarteto generally write their own music, or if it's more traditional songs and they sort of like just change, or they just do their own version as such. So if you like, you can hear them and dance a little bit. I can imagine. Well, I can certainly imagine during the festival, it would be very encompassing. So you can embrace the music and the atmosphere, I can imagine, particularly on a pleasant day. Okay, so Roman numerals. Okay, no worries. So band of 21 then. Band of 21. Okay, nice. I wonder if these guys would play. When I say guys, it's just these people. But I wonder if these guys are playing any sorts of traditional songs. Well, maybe not. Let's not say traditional songs. Let's say, could be a word. Well, let's just use a common one. Popular songs. But popular songs in the sense of like anthems, where you know how there are some songs where all the crowd, seemingly, all the crowd joins in and they're all singing whatever song, or maybe just singing like a part of a song every time that comes up, like the chorus or whatever it is. I always think they're the best things. Even if you, in whatever country, even if you don't understand the language, there's always a special feeling when it's like everyone around you is like getting into the song or singing the song or feeling the song, and that sort of thing. I remember a concert in the UK. It was a festival in the UK, and I think it's New Order. It was New Order, and they had, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it was like a song they did for the English team in one of the World Cups, football World Cups, and so they were performing, and it was like, yeah, sort of okay, like people were sort of, into it. A lot of people. It was around sort of dinnerish sort of time. The sun was still pretty good light because it's in summer, so the sun's not going down to like 9 or something. So I was around sort of like 6 or 7. So people were eating and like having a beer and stuff, sort of relaxing before the night really sort of kicked in. But then they started playing this song, the football song anthem that they had, and everyone just went electric. It was amazing to see and experience. And I think the words were quite simple, but and then maybe that's part of the key. But yeah. And I guess it's also nice. You also have the ones where it has the easy rhythm and everyone claps along. Everyone claps along. So everyone claps along. Yeah, that's a nice thing, isn't it? It's nice and I guess it's sort of an unspoken deal, isn't it? In a concert, if it's like a festival, or if it's in like a concert hall, if it's a small gig or a big gig, if it's at like a music festival or another sort of festival like you're at, Sonia, where it's like food and music and like a variety of different things. I suppose there's an unspoken agreement. Let's get that down. Unspoken agreement. So it's just sort of, people just sort of know, I guess. An unspoken agreement that, if you give me something, I will give you something. Or maybe it's the other way around. If I give you something, you give me something. Then I'll give you more, or I'll give you better even. And you give me something more. And then I give you even better. And you give me more. And then it's even better the next time. And I think that's perhaps the unspoken agreement with for things like artists, and particularly with music, where if I think it's very hard for the band to maintain sometimes to maintain the level or the energy if the band's just, or sorry, if the audience is just sitting there, just sort of doing their own thing, which is what a lot of bands have to go through, of course, particularly when they're starting out in the early years, or they're going to different places that are not really familiar with their music or whatever it is, or if they're a support act, like they go on tour and they're supporting another artist. That's, I guess, a quite common thing, particularly if the music's not exactly the same. Supports another artist. Okay. And so, let's talk about. So, okay, yes, and so the agreement is that the crowd will sometimes is just applauding, like and clapping. So maybe it's clapping along to the song, clapping at the end of the song, or cheering or shouting out, that sort of stuff. Other times it could be singing, participating. When in the bands they're going, come on, get your hands in the air and that sort of stuff, or they get the people to move one way or to the other. So I guess when they get that audience participation, I think most bands feed off that. That's a good expression. Feed off something. So most bands feed off the energy from the audience, the crowd. No, I think that's pretty accurate. What do you think? I think if they feel the energy and people are applauding and appreciating it, it's like a normal human thing, I guess, isn't it? You have extra motivation. If someone says, well done, good job, you feel like, oh, okay, good. I want to do more of it. It's like if you cook for someone and the person eats the meal and they go, oh, that was delicious, or that was really nice, you're more motivated to cook again. But if they just eat it and there's nothing, and it's like, it is possible to be demotivated, and it just becomes sort of like just a mechanical thing rather than an energetic thing, perhaps we could say. And because I guess the worst thing for a band, or for anything in a lot of ways, and this is probably where you have like jobs or activities that we don't really want to do. We can say to go through the motions. So it's just you sort of do the activities or things that you need to do to get to the end. And then and it's not really enjoying whatever it is. So in Latin America, I consider that people are more effusive at the time to express their love for a singer or band. I would imagine that's correct. Yeah. And I think that's sort of the reputation as well anyway, isn't it? There's more energy. Like people, anywhere, you can have anywhere people getting up to dance. But if I was going to imagine more people voluntarily getting up to dance without being prompted, I would imagine, maybe it's a correct or incorrect stereotype, but from from what you say here, it seems correct that they would just get up and dance, just from the feeling, just from the mood, and feeling in that mood very, very quickly, I guess. Whereas I know, like in lots of other places, you're more likely to have people sort of standing and watching at the back, and you have this, like when you have performers, like in like near shopping centers, or in festivals and stuff, where they have like the crowd, and like to get volunteers to come in, it can be very difficult, and it's like they have to like try and drag people out to join. Sometimes that can be very difficult in some, I guess, some cultures. Some people don't want to be in the spotlights, of course, and that sort of thing, or embarrassed for whatever. Or it's like, if it's for something like dancing, they go, oh, I can't dance very well, and that sort of stuff. And I guess that comes down to well, say attitude, isn't it? In a way, attitude or mindset. Because you can have the mindset as like, oh, everyone's going to be watching me and I can't dance really well. Whereas the mindset could be, I'm going to get up and dance and enjoy myself, and all those people are going to be watching me, wishing they were the ones getting up and dancing, but they're just standing there. So there's maybe you could imagine there's a sense of envy or jealousy, because the other people want to be braver to go and participate. But certainly I can imagine in Latin American countries, it's that's less of a problem. But the problem is probably more the other side, where it's like too many people and it's too crowded, and people are like all the time. Perhaps it could be too much sometimes, and it's just like it's bombarded with people down dancing and singing, and it's like maybe you're at a concert or something. People are playing, and you want to listen. You want to listen to the musician or the voice or something, and everyone else is singing. I was like, it's like, but it's you can have different experiences and mindsets, I suppose. I love dancing. Dance empty me. Okay, dancing empties me of energy. Okay, it's an unusual type of sentence, but yes, dancing empties me of energy. That's a great idea. Dancing, so the activity dancing empties me of energy. Nice, very nice. I don't do it as much as I would like. I do remember that. I'm not sure if I assume it was around the world. There was a song called the Sunscreen Song, connected to a movie. I'm not sure if it was Romeo and Juliet or another movie, but I think it was in the 90s. I think would be right, in the 90s. It was called the Sun, and there was like one bit. There was a guy who was doing a spoken. It was from an article, I think, in a newspaper somewhere or a magazine, about sort of like advice to people in general, and in this song, the person was listing the advice. Effectively, so it was a spoken word thing, and the person singing it was singing a version of that. Everybody's free. The original version was Rosella, I think, although maybe there was a version before that. I'm not sure, but in the 90s, the popular version was Rosella. There was a different version of that. by a kid, I think. I was a kid, like 13, 14 years old. Had like a very powerful voice. But anyway, and so one of the things in the, it's going to be a long story just for a short thing, but one of the things, one of the lines or pieces of advice was like, it was like a big sort of strong beat or something. And the guy goes, dance, even if you have nowhere to do it but your own living room. It's like, yeah, it's a nice thought. I like that. But I think, yeah, I really enjoy dancing as well, I have to say. I'm not very good at dancing with other people. If it's an organized dance, like if it's a Macarena or something like that, where you have to, or you're supposed to do certain movements and stuff, or like your I don't know, like what is it, the foxtrot and the rumba or salsa, like all those sorts of things. Um, I'm not very good with those, where you have to follow, well, not a rule necessarily, but it's like what the dance is supposed to be. I'm not very good with those ones, but I do like to dance in my own little world. That's what I love about dancing. So you listen to the music and you can be in your own little world. And I don't know, I have these, I imagine different sort of things, I guess. And sort of like in the scenario that I imagine, maybe this is a bit weird, I don't know, but in the scenario, I imagine whatever is sort of taking place, and that's the movements that I do in the thing when I'm dancing. So what it looks like from the outside, I'm not sure. Maybe it looks very strange from the outside. Um, but yes, that's what I love to do with dancing. Okay, you do that sometimes. I assume that's dancing at home, I guess, or in the living room. Living room is great because you have lots of space, or you can have lots of space in some living rooms. It's yes, I think it's a good space. And and I don't know, do you, when you dance, like imagine you put songs on, like I don't know if you put the radio on and like whatever song comes, or if you like play your own like CDs or records or whatever, or like from Spotify or something like that, you select the tracks to play, like make your own playlist. um do you if you're like dancing or whatever, do you listen to the whole song and dance to the whole song? Because I find that I don't know, and maybe this is just my personality compared to others. I tend to chop and change a lot. To chop and change. So it's like I would maybe play like 1 minute of a song. So maybe you get like the introduction, like the build up, and then you get like the like one section, and then like maybe like through the chorus or something. Um, and then it's like, okay, one another song now. So it's like you've had like a taste of that, and then it's like, no, I want another song now. Um, and I find I'm more like that, and always chopping and changing the song, and only really like listen to a whole song if there were some particular elements of the song later on that I particularly wanted to dance to, or of course if it's be too lazy to go and change it, would be the other things. But lots of times I would be like put it on, dance for like a minute or two, change the song, and sort of like repeat that. I guess the advantage is you can get through more songs that way, so you can hear more in a shorter space of time. But because I guess some songs can go for a long time. but it depends. Of course, when that's if I'm by myself, if with other people, that really annoys them. And when I do that, when other people are around, they go, "Eeh," not. They go, I want to listen to the rest of it. So I have to change that habit when other people are around, or I ask. I ask, and we can change it sometimes. Okay. Okay, so just a reminder. This is Have a Tea with Me. We are here for English language practice. If you're learning English and you want to uh, practice using English, we are here for you. 12 o'clock every day, universal time. And as we say, it's a particularly good time to be using universal time now, with all of the changes for daylight saving around the world, the clock changes here and there, in the last couple of weeks in particular. And you're always welcome to write to us. If now is not a good time, you can always send us an email, chatonlessonjigsaw@gmail.com. Send us an email, let us know where you are, what time zone you're in, and what days and times might be better for you. And we can see if we can organize a live stream with you. Okay, so we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for your participation. Good to see you again, Sonia. Glad to see you had a great weekend. It was a nice little discussion there about music and dancing and things like that. So we're going to leave it there for today. We will. Let me just check this. Okay, so you got a playlist with different genres. Okay, so salsa, axe from Brazil. I have to say I don't know what that is, but I'll have a look. Quarteto and so on. I'm listening to the complete list. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's a mood thing, isn't it? I guess when you've got the different playlists, they can represent the different moods. I don't know. I guess I can do that sometimes for some artists. It would depend. Because sometimes with some music you need energy to listen to. If it's sort of like slower music, I find it easier to listen through a bunch of artists if it's a more sort of mellow mood. But certainly if it's energy, almost like a real rocky sort of thing, or a real dancey sort of thing, it takes more effort, I think, to listen to lots and lots and lots and lots. Because I don't know, I think because I tend to move as well when I listen to music. So yeah. But I certainly think that's the way to go, isn't it? To have playlists. If you can have playlists for different moods, I guess, moods and feelings and situations. Like if you know you're going to go for a run or something, you can obviously get a playlist for energy. Good to also know you can track, instead of like looking at a watch or whatever, you can always track where you are and your pace by what song you're up to, or what part of a song you're up to at a certain position. And also you can time in the tracks for you to like cool down and that sort of thing. Also different possibilities. Okay, we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you for liking, subscribing, following, all that sort of stuff. And we will see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock Universal Time. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time. Take care. Stay healthy, stay happy.